All right, guys, this can be a quick video on setting up GradeSync. We kind of mentioned here and there that we have a new way of pulling data from PowerSchool into Canvas, and then that changed the process a little bit. But good news is I think it's going to be way easier for you. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go into PowerSchool, write down your categories. I know some of you have you've added ones aside from the basics. So remember, the basics are classwork, quiz, test, and project. If you have others, that's fine. You'll see why that's okay here in a second, but you want to write down the ones you're going to use. Also, if you weight your categories, go ahead and have that written down as well. Remember, if you're weighting things, you have to set it up in PowerSchool and Canvas so that when you're looking at them, they match up. All this video is going to cover is setting up the GradeSync of categories inside of Canvas. So if you need support on the PowerSchool side, let us know, but that process hasn't changed. All right, so once you're in your course, so I'm going to use cheerleading with Miss Stevenson. Make sure it's the 22-23 school year course. Go to Manage Subject up here in the top left-hand corner. You're going to, in Course Navigation, so depending on your school site will change the colors, but Course Navigation here, click on Assignments. And the first thing we're going to do is on the right-hand side is we're going to add groups. This is one of those initial changes, okay? So we're not going to use assignments, so I just can't delete it until I add other groups. So plus group. And then Ms. Stevenson uses the basic classwork, test. Remember, in PowerSchool, they're not plural. I will say this, you don't have to, it doesn't have to match the name perfectly, and you'll see why in a second. So if you want to say test and add an S or quizzes or whatnot, you can. I'm just going to use what is in PowerSchool project. So these are the 4 basics. All right, so now I've got my assignment groups. Now, if you've pulled information from a previous year, these assignment groups probably already exist, and that's fine too. You won't have to add these groups, okay? So you just want to make sure you have the categories from PowerSchool that match here in Canvas. Again, if you pulled from last year's course, all of the assignments that you did last year, because you're going to use them again this year, and you already have these categories, then you can skip that step of adding, okay? After you have your categories set up, on the top right-hand side, hit the topmost snowman. All right, and you're going to find Sync Sys categories. From there, you should see that you have the groups available here in Canvas, and then you have, it says 1 unassociated. So what we're going to do, I'm going to skip assignments because we're not going to use that. Classwork. Okay, so you're going to, if you have multiple sections, so if you teach Algebra 1 5 times, you'll have 5 different sections here, okay? And you'll want to take this step here. So I'm going to associate classwork with classwork. And you'll do that for each of your sections, okay? Test, I'm going to associate with test. Quiz with quiz. And project with project. Now, these drop downs here on the right are coming automatically from PowerSchool. We just couldn't process this step until today when our term started. Once all that's good, you'll scroll to the very bottom of that little space of the Sync Sys categories pop up and hit Sync Categories. It'll let you know successfully synchronized categories. You can X out of that, X out of that. All right, and then once you are back on this assignments page, it either is going to show you, remember we have to have this paper arrow, that lets us know that that's what's going to pass back and forth the PowerSchool. So that part's not changed either. It's just truly how we connect what's going on. If you don't see that, just hit refresh on the top left-hand corner, and when you do that, it should pop up this paper arrow. We will be coming around and supporting you guys, but if you have any questions, of course, always put a ticket in, but hopefully this process is easier. All right, we'll see you soon.